Caller, you're on the air. Who we got on that end?
This is Barry from Meat Revolution, California.
Hi, Barry. Nice of you to call in. Listeners,
To be a caller.
listeners, Barry is a member of the Meat Cutters Club. She's been a member for about a year now or longer. How long is it, Barry? About a year?
About a year, yeah.
Barry, tell everybody how long you've been in the meat business and a little about the Meat Revolution.
Well, I've been in the meat business about 7 years. Using meat animals, I was a farmer. That's how I got started, and I figured I didn't want to pay anybody to process my meat for me, so I figured I better learn how to do it myself. So I did.
That's a wise idea.
Yeah, it was a learning curve.
Oh, don't you have a blog?
I probably had none of the equipment, none of the setup, but you learn pretty quick.
Don't you have a blog too?
I do. I have a blog right now, not for Meat Revolution, but I'm run a series of dinners where we're hunting and foraging all over Sonoma County, where I'm here in California, and we make the dinner completely from foraged and hunted foods. So that's called Farm Forage Feast at WordPress.com, and that's been fun.
Well, it sounds interesting. One thing about it, one thing about it, man, stay full around there, won't it?
Well, it's been an adventure. I'm coming from farming, not from hunting, so I'm having to learn how to hunt as we go.
And you got into the business because you wanted to learn how to cut your own meat.
Oh yeah. Well, I've been cutting fish for a long time. I've been a fishmonger and a fish cutter for high production fish cutting. So I was used to a knife, but I wasn't used to large carcass animals. So that was what I had to learn. So yeah, it was hacking at them with a sawzall. Wow.
Well, how many grocery stores have you worked for?
I've only worked for one. Worked for Whole Foods, and so that's been the last couple of years I worked for them.
Well,
That's been good.
I've
It's a
heard.
learning experience. It's all. I recommend that for anybody actually. Is to start working for a grocery store, because you'll learn the whole range of marketing and everything you need to know about selling meat.
Well, I heard Whole Foods is a wonderful company to work for.
They are. They're a great company to work for, and especially if you get into hard to hire areas like meat and seafood, you could move up really fast. So they treat you really well at Whole Foods. Pay you nice too.
Well, what do you like best about meat cutting?
Oh, geez, I like everything about it. I knew from the first time I started cutting down my own meat that was going to be something that stuck. Things, but I don't know. I just love it. I love feeding people, first of all, and it's having my hands in every part of it. My real passion is curing and smoking. That's turning meat into things.
Well,
That's what I really love.
I've seen a couple of pictures that you had some of your products. They look good.
Yeah.
I just need a sample.
Well, I'll have to airmail you some.
Barry, what do you think of the local food movement? Do you think it's getting bigger or what?
Oh, absolutely. I think it's getting bigger. I mean, I'm just seeing it in my own business so much that people are really wanting to know where their food came from. I mean, it's amazing how many people, just have no relationship to their meat at all. They don't know it, but they want to, and that's good. I mean, one of the most successful things I have going on right now is teaching butchering and home processing to people. And I've got a waiting list a mile long of people who just can't wait to get in and see it up close. They love it, but they want to, and that's good. And then just even working behind the counter, I mean, the questions you get are so much more educated than they used to be.
Well, I've heard that the local food movement is also taking older meat cutters out of these chain stores nowadays because the younger ones can't handle carcass beef.
Well, it's a problem. I mean, carcass, I mean, we get in whole lamb, and that's the only thing that we still get in whole. We got a great ranch out here that, you know, we get it straight from the slaughterhouse, but you know, most of these guys never seen a whole carcass. They wouldn't know where to stick their knife if it was hanging in front of their face, you know. So that's a shame, you know. I mean, I think you see a lot of people who are, if they're really interested in butchering, they're heading to small shops, you know, to get their skill. Because, you know, right now, if you work in a supermarket, they cut New York strip, pretty much.
Well, I tell you, those small shops are making a comeback too. There's a lot of butcher shops opening up nowadays.
Yeah, it's great.
Well, I've got a question I want to ask you in case there's some young ladies listening into this.
All right.
How was it with you being a lady? Did it affect you for learning trade?
Well, like I say, I came out of farming. Old farmers are some of the hardest nuts to crack, I'll tell you that. People might say what they will about, you know, butcher shops and how hard they are to work in, but I've met a lot of real fine guys who are really willing to help me hone my skills and I didn't expect that because, like I say, it took me years and years to get respect among farmers. So that's why I kind of taught myself, you know. I didn't feel very confident about, you know, going and asking. And I should have. So there's the takeaway lesson is don't be afraid. And these guys are, you know, I'd like to say I have some horror story and mistreated as a woman in the butcher shop, but I sure haven't. I mean, it's just been, I always work with great people, and they've been real supportive. And because I have so much passion for what I do, I think they're happy to see it.
Surprise you. I trained one of the first female meat cutters that A&P had in Atlanta, Georgia.
Nice.
We trained several of them during that time. I actually trained two, and lasted 5 years, and she had troubles with a man and moved. The other one went on to become the first female meat supervisor in Atlanta, Georgia. So she kind of made me proud that I was able to teach her, you know.
I bet. There's a huge, I mean, this is another thing that, you know, if you are a woman and you're looking to get into butchering, all the supermarkets are having a big, huge push right now about, you know, creating more diversity in the meat side of the business. So that's a goal, and keep that in mind for most of these companies, and just be willing to start in the counter. That's the best. You'll learn the fastest, and, you know, stay up, and you move fast. That's another thing. If you think you're being crippled by being a woman in the business, you're not, because you actually have way more opportunity to move up fast if you prove your salt, you know.
Well, I tell you what, it sounds like that you'd be willing to recommend me to these younger people out there nowadays.
Oh, absolutely. And, I mean, you know, for anybody working in the supermarkets, it's the highest paid department in the store. So there's always, that's a good reason to get in. And it's a lot of hard work, and it's dirty, and it's wet, and it smells bad a lot of times. You know, and like I say, you can move up really fast because it is a hard to hire area.
Well, I've heard nowadays that these boys and women that get in there, if they learn it, they're positioned in a lot of these stores in 3 to 5 years.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, if you want to be on the fast track, you will be. I mean, I started out within 6 months. I was management. I came out owning my own business, so I had a little background there. But I mean, if you know what you're doing, you know, huge room for growth.
Well, when I came up in this business, it usually took you around 15, 20 years to make market manager, unless you worked yourself to death 5 days a week, 12 hours a day. You might get there quicker.
It's not quite that tough anymore. I mean, it's, you know, well, you got a lot of movement in the industry. I mean, there's people come and go, you know, and like I say, it's hard work. You know, there's a lot of people who haven't been raised on hard work, so, you know, they have an illusion that it's just going to be fun, and it isn't. And it's, you know, like I say, I've been up since 3 o'clock this morning. You work in a meat department, you do all your cutting early, so
Well, Miss Berry, I'm running a little short on time, so I'm going to have to take and tell you thank you for calling in. Now go sell some of that meat.
All right.
Hey, I appreciate you, ma'am.
I appreciate you, Leon. Great talking to you.
Thank you, dear.